Bill Gates is the founder of Microsoft and one of the world's wealthiest men. He started Microsoft in 1975 with his college friend Paul Allen. Gates was a visionary who saw the potential of personal computers and the need for software to make them useful. He was a great businessman who built Microsoft into a powerhouse. He and his wife, Melinda, have given away billions of dollars to charitable causes. Let's get to know more about Bill Gates' success story in this article. During his career at Microsoft, Gates oversaw the company's transformation from a fledgling startup to a multinational technology giant. Gates is the best-known entrepreneur for the personal computer revolution. For many years, he has been ranked as one of the richest people in the world by Forbes magazine. Gates has also authored or co-authored several books. Gates went to public elementary school and the private Lakeside School in Seattle. When he was in the 8th grade, Lakeside's administrators discovered that Gates had been hacking the school's computer system to get free time on the mainframe. Then he was arrested and spent a whole night in jail. He said this in an event, the single biggest influence on my career. After graduating from Lakeside in 1973, Gates enrolled at Harvard University. He dropped out 2 years later, however, to pursue his business career. In 1975, Gates and his childhood friend Paul Allen co-founded Microsoft, a computer software company in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The company's first product was a version of the basic programming language for the Altair 8800, one of the first commercially available microcomputers. In 1980, Microsoft released its MS-DOS operating system for IBM's personal computers PCs. This was a major breakthrough for Microsoft, as IBM's PCs became the industry standard. Gates continued to lead Microsoft as it released new versions of MS-DOS and Windows, a graphical user interface operating system. Windows became wildly popular, and by the mid-1990s, Microsoft's Windows operating system was running on more than 90% of the world's personal computers. Gates stepped down as CEO of Microsoft in 2000, but he remained chairman and chief software architect. In 2006, Gates announced that he would transition out of his day-to-day role at Microsoft to focus on philanthropy. He founded the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is the world's largest private charitable foundation. Bill Gates is one of the most successful businessmen of all time. He has transformed the technology industry and has had a profound impact on the world. He is an inspiration to entrepreneurs and a powerful force for good. Bill Gates' background. William Henry Gates was born on the 28th of October, 1955 in Washington. Gates grew up in an upper-middle-class family with his older and younger sister, his father William H. Gates II, and his mother Mary Gates, who was a school teacher before she became a homemaker. Gates went to public elementary school and private Lakeside School. When he was in the 8th grade, Lakeside won a computer programming competition, and Gates became fascinated with computers. Gates enrolled at Harvard University in 1973. 2 years later, he dropped out to work with his friend Paul Allen in a new computer company, Microsoft. Microsoft's first big break came in 1980 when IBM asked Microsoft to provide the operating system for its new line of personal computers. Microsoft licensed MS-DOS, Microsoft Disk Operating System, to IBM, and it quickly became the industry standard. In 1986, Microsoft went public, making Gates and Allen became instant billionaires. By the early 1990s, Microsoft's Windows operating system had become the most widely used platform in the world. In 1995, Gates wrote The Road Ahead, a best-selling book about technology and the future. In 2000, he stepped down as Microsoft CEO, but he remained chairman of the board and chief software architect. Gates has long been interested in using technology to improve people's lives. In 1994, he and his wife, Melinda, founded the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is dedicated to improving global health and education. The Gates Foundation has become one of the world's largest philanthropic organizations, with an endowment of more than $50 billion. In recent years, Gates has been increasingly involved in philanthropy. He has pledged to give away most of his fortune to charitable causes. In 2010, Gates and Warren Buffett founded the Giving Pledge, a campaign to encourage other billionaires to donate the majority of their wealth to charity. As of 2019, more than 200 billionaires had signed a giving pledge. In addition to his work with the Gates Foundation, Gates has also been active in global health initiatives. He is a co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and he serves on the boards of several other organizations, including the Gavi Alliance and the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria. Gates has been criticized for his involvement in some of these organizations, particularly the Gavi Alliance, which has been accused of promoting vaccination programs in developing countries that are not based on scientific evidence. Gates is one of the world's most famous and successful entrepreneurs. He is one of the wealthiest people in the world. As of 2022, Bill Gates' net worth was estimated at $114 billion. Gates has been ranked by Forbes magazine as the world's richest person for 17 out of the last 25 years. Bill Gates' failures. Here are some of Bill Gates' biggest failures. 1. Microsoft Zune. Microsoft launched the Zune in 2006, and it was a flop. It was bulky, had short battery life, and had a clunky user interface. Microsoft discontinued Zune in 2011. 2. Windows Vista. Windows Vista was released in 2007 to much fanfare. However, it was quickly panned by users and reviewers. Vista was slow, buggy, and full of security vulnerabilities. As a result, many users are stuck with the older Windows XP operating system. Windows Vista was a major failure for Microsoft. 3. Microsoft Kin. In 2010, Microsoft released the Kin, a smartphone aimed at teenagers. The Kin was a flop. It was overpriced, had a poor selection of apps, and had a confusing user interface. Microsoft discontinued the Kin after just 6 weeks on the market. 4. Windows 8. Windows 8 was released in 2012. It was a major redesign of the Windows operating system, and it was not well received. Users found the new Metro user interface confusing and difficult to use. As a result, many users are stuck with the older Windows 7 operating system. Windows 8 was a failure for Microsoft. 5. Microsoft Surface. In 2012, Microsoft released the Surface, a tablet computer. The Surface was a flop. It was overpriced, had a poor selection of apps, and had a confusing user interface. Microsoft has since discontinued the Surface. 6. Windows 10 Mobile. In 2015, Microsoft released Windows 10 Mobile, an operating system for smartphones. Windows 10 Mobile was a flop. It was buggy, had a poor selection of apps, and had a confusing user interface. Microsoft has since discontinued Windows 10 Mobile. 7. Microsoft HoloLens. In 2016, Microsoft released a HoloLens, a mixed reality headset. The HoloLens was a flop. It was bulky, had short battery life, and had a limited field of view. Microsoft has since discontinued the HoloLens. 8. Microsoft Band. In 2014, Microsoft released the Microsoft Band, a fitness tracker. The Microsoft Band was a flop. It was bulky, had short battery life, and had a limited selection of apps. Microsoft has since discontinued the Microsoft Band. 9. Windows 10. In 2015, Microsoft released Windows 10, an operating system for PCs and tablets. Windows 10 was a flop. It was buggy, had a confusing user interface, and was full of privacy-invading features. As a result, many users are stuck with the older Windows 7 operating system. Windows 10 was a failure for Microsoft. 10. Microsoft Edge. In 2015, Microsoft released the Edge, a web browser. The Edge was a flop. It was buggy, had a poor selection of features, and had a confusing user interface. As a result, many users are stuck with the older Internet Explorer web browser. Microsoft has since discontinued the Edge. Post-success, Bill Gates is one of the most iconic and successful businessmen of our generation. He is the co-founder of Microsoft, and through his work in the technology sector, he has helped to shape the modern world as we know it. Gates is also a philanthropist. and his work through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has helped to improve the lives of millions of people around the world. After growing up in an affluent family in Seattle, Gates attended Harvard University, where he met his future business partner, Paul Allen. The pair dropped out of college and founded Microsoft in 1975, with Gates serving as the company's CEO. Under Gates' leadership, Microsoft became the world's largest PC software company, and Gates himself became one of the richest men in the world. In the early 2000s, Gates began to shift his focus away from Microsoft and towards philanthropy. Through their work with the foundation, Gates and Melinda have helped to provide access to vaccines and other medical resources for millions of people around the world. Gates has also used his fortune to support other causes, such as climate change. In recent years, Gates has returned to a more active role at Microsoft, and he remains one of the company's largest shareholders. He also continues to work on various philanthropic projects, and his work has helped to make him one of the most respected and admired people in the world.